Just like your favorite restaurant, Excel has a secret menu. The crazy thing is, less than 1% of Excel users use any of these secret functions. Well, I want to help change that today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 secret Excel functions that have changed my work life and I hope will change yours too. If that sounds good, let's get rolling. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mike, and over the last decade, I've worked in finance everywhere from brand new startups all the way to the Fortune 100. And over that time, I've spent more than 10,000 hours in Excel. And I've tried to track down all of the little secrets that can make my workday go faster. And today, I want to share those secrets with you. These are the same secrets that I use and the same secrets that I teach to my teams in finance. Make sure to stick around to the end because secret number 9 has honestly saved my team and I more time than all of the others combined, and you don't want to miss it. With all that out of the way, let's get started. So let's get started with our first secret function, and that's the RRI function. This function can help you do CAGRs in just seconds. It makes them easier to audit. It makes them easier to build. It makes them easier to copy and paste. So much faster than using a CAGR function. And yet, nobody seems to use this function. I asked 50 people if they'd heard of the RRI function, and not a single one of them had. So I'm going to show you how to use it. It is so powerful, and this has completely replaced all of my CAGR functions. So the RRI function is pretty simple. You're going to have 3 things. You're going to have the number of periods, or NPER. You're going to have the present value and the future value, okay? So for 24 to 25, this is just year over year, it's 1 period. You can also do this with just the straight math, but again, RRI is so easy to do all of your variance formulas with because it's so easy to audit, it's so easy to review, and easy to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So again, this will be 1 period. Then we're going to select 2024 as the present value and 2025 as the future value. Just like that, we get a 32% growth. We'll copy it down and we get a 5% growth. Could not be easier. So now we'll do 21 to 25. We're going to do our RRI function again. This will be 4 years from 21 to 25. Our present value in 21, our future value in 25. There's our 1% CAGR across the time frame, and then 2% down for product revenue. How cool is this? CAGR functions, variance functions in seconds with a consistent, easy to audit formula. Now we're going to move on to secret number 2, which is field value. If you do any work with stocks or market data, this is going to change your life. So the first thing we want to do, you can put in a stock ticker, so I can put in T for AT&T, or you can put in the name. We need to activate them so Excel knows that we want to use field value on these. So we're going to highlight our 3 telecom companies here. These are the big 3. We're going to go to data. And under data types, you'll see we've got stocks, currencies, and geography, and we're going to select stocks. Now, Excel has recognized that these are the companies, it's added the ticker, and when you see this little icon, this means it is activated, and you can show the card for it and see the other details. But the great thing is we can build easy functions that we can kind of copy and paste and pull in any values we want. There are hundreds of values that you can directly source. Really anything that's commonly tracked, you can do it right here. So we're going to go ahead and pull in our field value function. Now, first we do the value. The value is going to be the company or the country or the currency you're looking for. So we'll select AT&T here. Then it's going to give you all the options for the different field names. In this case, I've typed them right up here so I can copy and paste. Let's go ahead and lock these down so we can do our dragging. There's that. And we're going to pull those down and look at that. Here we've got our prices. Go ahead and format those so you can see it. This is going to be our percent change versus the prior day. And then this here is going to be our trading volume. So AT&T's price was 28.01. It changed 35%, and the volume was 15.6 million shares. And again, you can do this on the data tab with stocks, currencies, geography. All of this data is real time, pulled right in when you need it, and can constantly update in your files. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to check out my weekly newsletter, Finance Automation Insider. I'm going to send you tips every single Thursday for automation, how to improve your workday, land that next promotion, and put more money in your pocket. When you sign up, I'll also give you a free guide to 15 5-minute finance automations so you can start automating your job and save time today. Again, click the link down in the description so you'll get the bonus and get our next newsletter. All right, now we're going to move on to the subtotal function. The great thing about the subtotal function is that we'll let you ignore hidden rows in the data, which is something that sum and average can't do. So let's take a look at this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sum our January column here. All right, it's correct right now because you see nothing's hidden. We got all of our rows here. Now instead, I'm going to use the subtotal function for the second one. For the subtotal function, the first thing we do is the function number. The list will be right here. We're going to sum it, but you can do any of the common formulas. And then we're going to pull in the number that we want or the reference. We're going to highlight that, same reference, and there's our subtotal. Now, right now they're the same. But now what happens when I go to remove my coffee sales and food sales because I just want to look at expenses? We'll go ahead and remove those, and you'll see the sum function is still including those hidden values, but the subtotal function has removed them. Let's see if this is the total, 45523. Yep, perfect. So you can do subtotals even if you have a data set that you want to filter. Now I'm going to back these out for a second. We're going to have those right back in, and we'll do the same thing with the average function. All right, so we're going to average these out. 11,781. Now I'm going to do the same thing here with subtotal. Instead of selecting sum down here, I'm going to select average. That's number 1. And then we'll pull in our range. And just like before, you see they're the same right now. But once we go and we're going to hide and see what our average of coffee and food sales is. And just like that, the subtotal function has updated while the average and sum functions have not. Secret number 4 is the aggregate function. This is somewhat similar to subtotal, but you can go one step further with it, and that's removing errors or even removing interim subtotals if you're using the formula from the last page. So let's go ahead and look at this. Again, if I look at the sum function, I'm going to sum my data set, same as before, except there's an error in the marketing line. And when I do my sum function, it throws an error into the function, so I can't get a result. But aggregate's going to let us go around that. So we're going to select aggregate. Now this function, you have the function number just like before, so we want to sum. All right, then we're going to do our options. So the options are going to be, you can ignore subtotals, you can ignore nothing, you can ignore hidden rows, error values. What I usually like to do, because I'm not using subtotals a ton in this, is I'm going to do number 7 and I'm going to ignore hidden rows. And then I simply select the array. So now it's going to ignore any hidden rows and it's going to ignore errors. So already you'll see it's working better. We have our 72650. There's that. And then if I want to pull out our hidden rows like we did before, we'll pull out coffee sales and food sales, 35706. And the sum function, just delete that for fun, is still showing the full amount, even the rows that are hidden. So aggregate allows you to evaluate data sets regardless of how messy the data is and prevent any issues from coming into your formulas. Have any questions? Go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I read and respond to every single one, and I'm more than happy to help. Secret number 5 is XLOOKUP. If you're using Office 365 or newer and you're still using VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, what the heck are you doing? Because XLOOKUP can do both functions at the same time, and honestly, it can replace index match being nested just as well. So XLOOKUP is kind of the future of the lookups, and we want to make sure that you know how to use it. So here we're going to be able to have kind of a drop down for our month, like what month do I want to look at? Let's say we want to look at June. And then for June, I want to be able to query the revenue or the gross margin. So I'm going to go ahead here and do XLOOKUP. My lookup value, I'm going to look for revenue. I'm going to look for it in the lookup array. And again, you can go either direction for this. You don't have to think about HLOOKUP versus VLOOKUP. Now the return array, it's going to want to return from June. And then I don't need to put these optional ones, if not found, match mode, or search mode. It gives you a lot of opportunities to customize, but we don't need to do that right now. Just know you can really customize the crap out of this. So 32,391, there's our revenue. I'm going to go ahead and copy this down. We're going to see what is our gross margin percent. And our gross margin percent is 27%. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Now, we can do the same thing for an account. Let's say I want to come up and look up an account. Let's look up our labor, and then I want to be able to find it for June or December. So we can do our XLOOKUP function again. Our lookup value is going to be June. We want to find it in the lookup array. So now I'm going horizontally, right? Which would have been an HLOOKUP function before I would have done a VLOOKUP function. Let's lock that down. We want to return from our labor cost. So there is the matching array. Close that off, 9060. That's from June, is that correct? 9060. Let's go ahead and copy this formula down. 8246 for December, and there it is. So XLOOKUP allows you to go in any direction. It allows you to start from the left, start from the right, start from the top, start from the bottom, all things that HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP can't handle. Throw those functions out and start using XLOOKUP. It'll change your Excel life. Secret number 6 is actually 4 different functions. We have the unique function, the filter function, the sort function, and the sequence function. And these are called dynamic functions, meaning that they will continuously update and do a spill range as you look for things. So let's see what we can do with this. First, I want to look and I'm going to try to find unique drinks sold. So let's go ahead and do our unique function. So for the unique function, I select an array. I can then select if I want it by column or exactly once, but I'm just going to select the array, and it's going to give me back my unique drinks. So let's do that. There's my unique array. So now we've got the unique drinks from the entire list. Let's say just to show you what would happen if I typed in something else, but I don't see any tea. Let's go to latte, let's type in tea. And you'll see it is updated automatically with tea because it's dynamic. Now, caution on these dynamic functions, you don't want to put anything to the right or down where it might spill out. You want to make sure you know how big this is going to be because, again, it will keep updating just like you saw me do with tea. So let's do our filter function. This is going to be an array. It's going to be our whole list of prices. Go ahead and lock that down. Then I want to do the same thing because I want this to be the range. And we're going to say if anything in that range is greater than 5, pull it in. All right, and here's all of our prices. Let's format that a little cleaner. So here are all of the prices and the orders that were over $5. And again, let's say I come back and I make this $5.79. We should see $5.79 pop into our list. Yep, and there it is, constantly updating for you. So now I'm going to do my sort function. I'm going to select my array, which is going to be all of my prices. We'll go ahead and lock that down. Placeholder of 1 for the sort index, and then the sort order we want -1, which will be descending. And here are all of our prices in descending order. Format that so you can see it. And here's every single price we have in descending order and just so many different options you can do. And then the last thing is sequence, which allows you to, well, create a sequence. So let's go ahead and we're going to do equal sequence. And this is just going to return a sequence of numbers for you. So I want 100 rows. And that's going to give you 100 rows, so you can use the sequence function if you need to have things numeric. This works really well with other functions, but these are the dynamic functions. Again, be careful about the spelling, make sure you leave them plenty of room, but they are so useful to build in dynamic dashboards, to build in dynamic reports, whatever you need to do. Secret number 7 is the let function. The let function is all about making your formulas easier to audit and understand. In a let function, earlier in the function, you can define what a term means, and then you can reference it by the term later in the function. Now think about this from a sales tax calculation. What this means is that I can define what a sales tax calculation looks like. So this is how we would do a simple let function. So we're going to let the price, which is our first name, be in cell C7 right below this. Then we're going to let our tax be in cell C8 right below that. Now we're going to do our price times 1 plus tax. Close that off. And now let's come down here. So we'll say our price is $10 and our tax rate is 7%. So the total price with tax is going to be $10.70. A really easy way to audit your functions so that anybody can read them, to define things, and make sure that you're using your formulas consistently. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I post brand new videos every single Monday, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Now, secret number 8 is lambda functions. Lambda lets you define your own reusable functions that you can use over and over again. There's 2 ways to do lambda functions. You can do them right in line by defining your function, or you can save them to name manager and call on them later. Now let's look at an example of how you would convert Fahrenheit into Celsius. It's a great use. This is the kind of thing you would use for lambda, a reusable function you want to use over and over again, but don't want to have to type it out every single time. So the first way, and you can see I've got the examples here, the first way you could do this is right in line. I'm going to create my lambda function. F is going to be for Fahrenheit, and then the function is going to be F minus 32 times 5 over 9. That's the Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion. Now, that's the function. If I want to just do this in line, I can put the variable next to it. So it's going to say 77 is F by sticking it right next to it. I'll hit enter, and there is 25 degrees Celsius. The really thing we can do, though, is we can copy this, and I'm going to put it into name manager so I can call on it by name. So I'm going to go to define a name. This is going to refer to this function. So here's our lambda function down here. I'm going to go ahead and name this F2C. The scope will be in our workbook. Got our function, we'll hit OK. So we've got it saved. Let's go ahead and call up our function, F2C. You'll see it's added here like it's a function, like it was here the entire time. We're going to go ahead and click on that. We can select Fahrenheit, and there is our conversion. Now, if we did this right, when I get to 32, it should be 0 Celsius. And indeed it is. So you can literally define your own functions to use over and over again. This is so great if you're doing, driver-based forecasting, if you're doing variance analysis. You use a lot of the same formulas over and over again. Rate, value, mix. You can program them in and call the function by its name instead of typing it out every time. Such an easy way to make reliable files where you can know you're getting the right answer and that you can trust your work every single time. Now the last secret, and this one is a doozy, this is Power Query. It's built right into your Excel. It's totally free, and this has saved my team hundreds of hours over the past year. Power Query is a data management tool, and it allows you to go out and get multiple different data sources and pull them together, and even better, update them automatically and save all your data transformation steps. Power Query is up here under Get and Transform Data. This is Power Query right here. I can pull in all kinds of different data sources. You can do Excel, CSV, you can have it scrape PDFs, you can have it go straight to the internet to look for data. You can have it pull in from SharePoint, you can have it pull in from any of your company's financial systems if your tech teams will let you. So let's go ahead and look at how we would pull in a couple data sources. Now I want to pull in my coffee shop financials. So I'm going to go to my coffee shop, and here are my coffee shop sales. So that's going to be my first data set. There's two things you can do. You can either pull the data straight into the file, or if you want to work a lot lighter, you can actually pull it into a data model where you can work with it without pulling everything in. I'm going to do that. I'll hit load to. We're going to add this to the data model. I'm not going to pull it into the file. I'm just going to create a connection. And now you'll see it all spool up over here under queries and connections, which you can always access from this queries and connections section right here. And here is my transactions. Now I want to pull in a mapping table. So let's pull in our product pricing. Here's our product pricing. Go ahead and select product pricing. Again, we're just going to pull in the connection. Add it to the data model. And now, every single month, if you keep the name the same, if I keep calling this transactions, if I don't change my product pricing, or if I maintain the same table, I hit the refresh button, all of this is going to pull in seconds. One of the best parts is you can exceed Excel's million row limit. I've had as many as 8 million rows of data pulling in because it's not actually pulling the data into Excel. Power Query is using the M coding language on the back end to do all of your data transformations. And then when I go into Power Query, by clicking this Get Data and launching Power Query Editor, I can do a lot of transformations on my data set without actually having to pull the data in. So here's all of my transaction data. You'll see this has all been pulled right in, and now I've got all of these different transformation options here that I can use. This is the ultimate flex, the ultimate secret, and way too few people are using Power Query. I've just scratched the surface about how you can use Power Query to transform your workflow and transform your workday. If you want to learn more about it, I've got a video that will teach you all of the basics you need to know about Power Query in under 20 minutes. I'm going to put the link to that video right here. You definitely want to check this out because Power Query is so incredibly powerful, and I don't want you to lose another second running data manually when Power Query can do it all for you. I'll catch you over there. This is Mike signing off from F9 Finance. Cheers.